Tanya, Hani, as we stand here at the U.S. Federal Courthouse in downtown Miami, it was a day of raucous but peaceful protest here. A day where 1 minute, literally, you were seeing a former president, according to courtroom observers, sitting stone-faced before a federal magistrate. And 20 minutes later, after he departed, all smiles as he put on his political charm for his supporters at a local restaurant. More on all of that. And it speaks to the dichotomy of his life, both legally and politically, and really the dichotomy for the country in the coming months as this country navigates this historic legal challenge that he faces, legal jeopardy, but also somebody who's the GOP frontrunner in 2024. It's history that's never been written in this country. We'll see how it's written now. What are we looking at here? And for a start, we look at what happened inside court and out. Let's go inside the courtroom first. 37 felony counts of mishandling classified documents faced by the former president. His lawyer in court, Todd Blanche, said, "We most definitely plead not guilty." Also, the former president was told he could have no contact about the case with his co-defendant and former aide and valet, Walt Nada. No restrictions on travel for the former president. And again, as I said, when he left here, he went to one of the most famous spots in Little Havana, thanking supporters at Versailles Restaurant.
What a great group of people. What a great group. Happy birthday to you.
Full campaign mode for the president not long after he left the courthouse. He'll turn 77 years old tomorrow, thus the happy birthday song for him. He'd been joined by his son Eric on the trip to Doral and back this day before heading away from Miami International Airport. So as we look at all of that, let's look again. Let's take a peek inside the courtroom. Again, in federal court, no cameras are allowed. So it was a day where sketches were what we saw. Pen and paper, reporters who went in then ran out after they saw the former president enter the courtroom, flanked by his lawyers. He didn't say anything to the federal magistrate, John Goodman, but he could be seen talking to his lawyer, Todd Blanche, this day in the hearing and in the plea of not guilty that was entered in this arraignment, the beginning of a long legal odyssey on this case. He faces another indictment in New York and possibly others to come. But on this day, it was history made in this courtroom for the president as we look at the central core of this case. Documents at Mar-a-Lago found in bedroom, bathroom, ballroom, hundreds of classified documents found when the FBI went there last summer, August 9th. It was the night of August 9th when the call went out. And from that sprang an investigation which ultimately led to this indictment and the allegations that he not only mishandled classified information, but urged his aides and lawyers not to turn it over to the DOJ. And those are the serious charges he faces as you look on at pictures of Mar-a-Lago. And I had a chance to speak to Kellen Howell. She's a producer for Scripps, one of their White House team of producers, and she was in the courtroom and described the moment and gave a sense of what she saw and put you in the courtroom with her. Let's listen to what she had to say.
I wasn't able to gauge his facial expressions throughout the proceeding, but I could see that, he kind of went back and forth from folding his arms and sitting back to sort of leaning over the table. And he did lean over several times and had some whispered, hushed conversations with one of his attorneys, Todd Blanche, who was seated to his right. And that was the only attorney that he spoke directly to the whole time, but he did speak to him several times.